Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families. Welcome back to this week's episode of The Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. And if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, well, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show for you today, and I know that you're going to love it. What do we have coming up? Well, as always, we'll delve deeply inside Skip's brain, see what's going on there. Then we'll talk about the news. A lot happening in the news. Seems like the world just keeps getting crazier and crazier every single week. It's like there's no limit to the idiocy and the lunacy that the world has to offer. But then in segments 2 and 3, we have Gabe Suarez from Suarez International. And we're going to be talking about challenge commands, hesitancy to shoot, deliberateness, and then we'll also talk quite a bit about hardware. You know, he makes his own slides and triggers and red dots. We talk a lot about that in segment 3, and I think you're going to enjoy that a lot. But first, let's take a sneak peek inside Skip's brain. What have I been doing? What have I been up to? It's been a pretty boring week. I've been trying to kill possums, groundhogs, basically any kind of varmint. Cabbage worms. I've been plagued with cabbage worms. My garden is going great. I'm watering it. We have quite a bit of rain, enough sunshine. I've got it set up so it's almost weed-free. I plant the rows like always, but then I put down about a 3-inch layer of hay or straw to subdue the weed growth, because I don't like pulling weeds. Maybe you're like me. But that's working out really well for me. I've got cayenne peppers that are about 2 inches long now. And then I've got cabbage worms. They're hitting on my cabbage plants, my Brussels sprouts, and my cauliflower. So if any of you out there have some insight into how to get rid of those, I tried to do it organically with a spray that you mix up on your own, diatomaceous earth, and it doesn't seem to be working. The only thing that's worked for me in the past has been 7 dust, and of course, that's not very politically correct, is it? It's poison. You put it on the plant, and then you eat the plant. So I'm not sure that's the right way to go, but if I don't kill these cabbage worms, I'm not going to have a plant. So help me out here. What has worked for you, and what has not worked? Send me an email at skipcoryell@hotmail.com, or go to facebook.com/skipcoryell or facebook.com/Midwest Tactical Training, and give me your input, because I need help. It seems like actually shooting the cabbage worms might be overkill, and it makes my neighbors nervous. So give me your insight on that. You'll be happy to know my chickens are safe. Been doing great. Since I have my electrical fence up there, it's going just fine. I have been doing a lot of remodeling, a lot of knotty pine paneling put up in the upstairs. I am working my butt off for that, trying to make my wife happy, which is, part of my job. Talk about family defense. When I do what my wife tells me to do, it keeps her from beating me at night while I sleep. I always used to wonder, why do I wake up with bruises? And then it finally hit me. It's my wife. I need to do what she tells me to do. Just joking. Sarah, just in case you're listening, that was a joke in poor taste. Anyways, there's a lot of news, so I want to delve right into the news now. First, let's go off to Drudge Report. All right, the big headline there is, I see in red, police respond to active shooter at New York City hospital. Is that really news? It happens every week, right? Several times a week, some active shooter goes in and just starts shooting away. It says at least 3 shot gunman barricaded. I haven't even read this article yet, but I'm pulling it out right now here. It's coming up. Is he going to be a Democrat or a Republican? I wonder. At least 2 people were shot Friday afternoon inside a New York City hospital in what police described as an active shooter situation. No kidding. Reports say shots rang out on the 16th floor of Bronx Lebanon Hospital Center, not far from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The shooter is deceased at the hospital, according to police. At least 3 doctors were shot. Doesn't like doctors. The condition of those who were injured wasn't immediately known. Well, when you think about it, if you're going to get shot, I prefer to get shot inside a hospital. It just makes things so much more efficient. Not to make light of it or sound callous or anything. President Trump has been made aware of the developing situation. So what? What's he going to do about it? Well, this is just developing. By the time you guys listen to this, you'll know all about it. Active shooters, hey, they shoot people, right? Let's see what else we got. Fox News, foxnews.com. Machete-wielding man arrested near Justin Bieber concert. I didn't hear about that. A machete-wielding man was one of 2 people arrested outside a UK arena where singer Justin Bieber is slated to perform Friday night. Well, hey, probably just guy out having a stroll, not a big deal. The men were arrested outside the Principality Stadium in Cardiff by the South Wales Police. South Wales Police were called to a dispute involving motorists on Saunders Road, Cardiff, at approximately 3:05 p.m. Authorities later tweeted, "We would like to confirm there has been no incident at the Justin Bieber concert." Okay. The 2 men, aged 19 and 17, were detained on suspicion of carrying an offensive weapon. Okay. They were being held at Cardiff Bay Police Station. George Petrov, a waiter working near the arena, told Unilad, "I was walking and I saw a security guy pull the person from the car. He was holding a machete inside the car." Police have not said the incident is connected to terror. However, terrorism fears are high in Britain following a series of recent attacks, including an ISIS-claimed suicide bombing outside an Ariana Grande concert in May. Well, let's not jump to any conclusions. Machete-wielding man, yeah, I'm sure it's nothing. Move along, nothing to see here. Here's something. Oklahoma dad sets up sting operation to nab man allegedly sending sexual messages to his teen daughter. An Oklahoma dad took matters into his own hands and set up a sting operation to capture a man allegedly sending sexually explicit messages to his 15-year-old daughter, reports said. The unidentified father in Del City discovered the inappropriate messages and photos while using the parental control app called Family Time. This app allows parents to monitor their children's phone calls, text messages, etc. The 33-year-old man eventually set up a time to meet the teen, and the father conjured up a plan to nab him. He had planned everything with her, the father told KOCO News. He was ready, and we were too. The father lured the man to the family's backyard by posing as his daughter online. Wonder if that entailed him dressing up as Little Bo Peep or not. Probably not. On the day of the takedown, the teen's stepmother waited for the man in a tent in the backyard while the father and 4 other family members waited outside in the house. They thought this through, didn't they? Quote, "As he walked in and looked into the tent, my first nephew jumped out. My cousin jumped out after that, and I came in with the zip ties," the father recalled. He admitted immediately that he was there to have sex with my daughter. Oh, dangerous admission there. Surveillance video captured the sting. The man held down the assailant until the officers got there. Quote, "The family took it upon themselves to pretend to be her and invite the suspect to the house to meet her in the backyard in a tent for the purpose of having to have sex," the Del City Police Department said. The father turned over to the police the sexually explicit content he found. Quote, "So the moment he entered my yard, that point in time, I had to do what was right as a father," the father told KOCO News. "You walked into the wrong backyard. That's all there is to it." Now, it's going to be interesting to note this terrible person, this lowlife. He'll probably end up suing the father and all of the relatives for some weird thing. They trapped him into this, or, are the police going to file criminal charges against the father for God knows what, assault or whatever. We'll see what happens. Thank God this didn't happen in Southern California, or the dad would probably already be in jail. But hey, I for one, man, I think this was a really good idea. The only thing he probably could have done better to protect himself legally is to have the police waiting there, and brought the police in on this ahead of time. That way he could protect himself legally. I don't know what I'd do. Someone goes after my daughter, I cannot be held responsible for my actions. I'd have been waiting in that tent for him with a shotgun. But, hey, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice, okay? But, hey, that was good. What else we got? Oh, here's a happy story. United States Marine Corps, this is on bearingarms.com. USMC veteran takes out 3 armed robbers. Quote, I opened the door and smoked them. Okay. Well, let's not mince words. Quote, I opened the door and smoked them. Now, that's the start of a great story, but seriously, it gets better. 3 armed robbers in Theodore, Alabama, thought 62-year-old Michael Irving would be the perfect victim. A few weeks ago, they reportedly broke into his home, robbed Irving of all his cancer medication, and left him with a threat. If you report the robbery, we'll come back to harm you. Now that is low. The guy's dying of cancer, so you break in, steal his pain meds, and threaten to kill him. But Irving called the police to report the robbery anyhow and made sure he would be able to defend himself if the suspects returned. Last Thursday night, that's exactly what happened. The 3 suspects showed up at Irving's door again, this time armed with a handgun and a shotgun. When he walked up to open the door, quote, that's when he shot me, he said. Oh man, the poor old man with cancer got shot. Irving, a United States Marine Corps veteran, wasn't about to be victimized again. That's right. Semper Fi, hoorah. Quote, that's when I went to the cabinet here, and back behind the coffee was an old-time pistol, said Irving. I opened the door and smoked him. Wonder what kind of pistol it was. Irving managed to shoot all 3 suspects. All right. Well, apparently it wasn't a flintlock. 2 of them fled the scene in a vehicle, but were found by Mobile County Sheriff's Office deputies at a Dollar General store just over 2 miles away after they reported being shot. The 3rd suspect remained wounded at the home. The suspects, identified as Casey Ray Gann, 29, Joseph Heathcock, 19, and Chase Dulaban, 24, were taken to a local hospital for treatment and arrested shortly thereafter. All 3 have been charged with assault, 2nd degree, robbery, 1st degree, burglary, 1st degree, and shooting into an occupied dwelling. Quote, it surprised me too, but when someone just shot and is trying to kill you, it just wakes up the dragon. It woke up his dragon, said Irving. Quote, I learned that in the Marine Corps. You react and do what you have to do before you get scared. There's a video here. I watched the video. This poor old guy, he's got to be 70 years old. And, on a stinking IV drip, the guy's got one foot on death's door and the other foot on a banana peeling. And he shot 3 guys, 19, 24, and age 29. That was fine shooting, and he did it with a relic of a handgun. So, hey, God bless the Marine Corps. Just because you're old doesn't mean you have to die. You don't have to roll over and take one for the team. So, good job, and go Marine Corps. Well, that's all we have for you in segment 1. While I'm away, go ahead and eat something healthy. Not a Twinkie. Nothing made by Hostess. A piece of fruit. Maybe a vegetable. Some good red meat. Coming up, we have got segment 2 with Gabe Suarez, our resident instructor badass, and he will be enlightening all of us with wisdom from the street. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
My name is Skip Coryell. Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coryell. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us. This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want to talk to you about keeping your kids safe around guns. I've never been a big fan of trigger locks, but I have to tell you, I have found a product called Child Safe One. It's a trigger blocker, not a trigger lock, and it works fantastic. I tried it out on my kids, and they could not get the Child Safe One off the training gun. I gave them 5 minutes. I sat there and I watched them, and they couldn't do it. Folks, I am satisfied, more than satisfied, that my kids are safe around Child Safe One. Here's the good thing about it. I can get that lock off the gun in under 2 seconds, but my kids can't even figure out how it works. Child Safe One is a win-win for everyone in the family. My wife's happy because she knows the guns are secure. My kids are happy because they're safe. And I'm happy because when the wolf comes a-knocking, I've got that gun cocked, locked, and ready to rock in less than 2 seconds. So go to globalgunsafety.com and get Child Safe One today. That's globalgunsafety.com. Check it out now and tell them the Home Defense Show sent you. All right, folks, this is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Welcome back. We have one of my favorite instructors on the line now. His name is Gabe Suarez from Suarez International, based in Arizona. Gabe, welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, Gabe, you had a very interesting article come out just a few days ago. And right up at the top it says, yelling is stupid, but if you're going to do it, here is when and how. Can you talk to us about challenge commands, when to do it, when not to do it, how to do it? I mean, because you've got some experience in this line, being former law enforcement and all that. So talk to us about when you're talking to bad guys. Give us some advice.
Well, the thing that and look, I'm probably a little more aggressive than your average firearms instructor, but here's the thing: everybody wants to shoot the bad guy, okay? But nobody wants to shoot the good guy, and so we have to understand that. And today our paradigm is a little bit different. It's not just your run-of-the-mill, teenage beatnik thug with a switchblade or a tire iron or something. We're dealing with a much higher threat level today. We've got these, I don't know what the heck to call them, political terrorists, I guess you call them. These guys that are going violent on these political rallies and targeting people, and like this guy that shot the congressman. And there's still bad guys and thugs and stuff like that, but we've got guys like that and we've got terrorists. And so my premise and what I'm teaching students is this: if the actions of the subject in question, presumably the bad guy, if his actions are such that it is clear that he is the bad guy, you need to shoot him. If he's focusing on you, clearly you need to shoot him. If he's focusing on someone else and has no idea that you're on the same planet with him, you need to shoot him. All right, there's no point in having a discussion with those guys. It's not your job to capture them or anything of that nature, okay? So if you've got an active shooter or you've got a terrorist and it's clear that they are what they are because of what they're doing, and that doesn't necessarily mean they just happen to have a gun, okay? If they have a gun and they're shooting at a bunch of, kindergartners or into a Toys R Us or innocent people, I don't think a good guy would do that. So you're probably safe to assume that they're not that. In those cases, light them up, shoot them to the ground, okay? But there are times when the situation's a little bit more ambiguous and you don't quite know what you have. In the sense of the congressman shot on that baseball field. Apparently, some law enforcement person saw the shooter, had a clear shot, but decided to yell at him instead, and in turn got shot. That was, in fact, what spurred the whole discussion about when and why you should refrain from yelling when you have enough, and so on and so forth. It's the times when it's ambiguous, when you're not sure what you have. This person that I'm seeing here may be armed, or it may be. I think that they're armed, and I don't quite want to, turn my back on them or what. I need to challenge them for whatever reason. Okay, or the bad guy that doesn't quite have a pistol pointed at you, or it's someone else. The times when it's ambiguous. Those are the only times when you want to yell at these people. And when you do, you have to have a position of advantage. You have to be behind cover, and you have to be in a position that if they do not comply, or if they reply to you with aggression, you have to be in a position where you can shoot them to the ground as well. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, I kind of like the way you worded it. I love the way that you write, because you're kind of a very no-nonsense, balls-to-the-wall kind of guy. And you worded it this way. You said, if he has already shot people and there is no doubt about what is happening, skip all of this and just shoot him. You will thank me when you are 80, so will your yet-to-be-born kids and grandkids, and so will the supermodel wife you have not yet met. How did you know I had a supermodel wife? I
do my intel. No, but you know what? The thing is this. There are plenty of cases historically where, some good guy wants to do good things. And look, we are that way. Americans are that way. We're going to take care of ourselves and screw everybody else people. We're not that way. And especially if you're skilled and armed and everything else, and God puts you right there at the spot where this guy is going to kill innocent people. How cowardly of us to run and hide when we have the ability to change history that moment. Mm-hmm. But there's been plenty of times. This last one, of course, is one where good guys have sought to turn the tide, and because I don't know, they were trained to do this or whatever, they point in on the bad guy and they yell at him or challenge him or something like that, and the bad guy turns and shoots them. Either injures them, sometimes in a way that there's no coming back from, or kills them, or something of that nature, when that didn't have to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, that didn't have to happen. The officer that was shot on the baseball field didn't have to get shot. There was another one that I mentioned in the article, a gentleman at a mall who, did the same thing. The bad guy shot him. There's been several as well. So I think that some of these liability-focused instructors, I'd rather be killed than sued people. Mm-hmm. They're teaching this sort of thing, and it's getting people injured, it's getting people killed, and it needs to stop.
Yeah. Now, the actual challenge command, and I think you and I are on the same page here, and I've been teaching this for like 17 years, and one thing that I learned to get away from is the fear-based training, the liability-based, the fear of all of that. And I just go with common sense. I mean, if you're standing out there in the open and there's a guy with a shotgun and he's holding it on the clerk and you yell to him, drop the gun, I'm expecting him to turn around and shoot me.
Absolutely.
I mean, what kind of people are we dealing with? I mean, you have been out there on the street. I mean, I'm a trainer. I've never been in a gunfight. What are the different kinds of criminals that my students are going to run up against?
Well, they run the gamut just as, what kind of good guys are the bad guys going to run into? There's some that are truly stupid and clumsy and ill-prepared, and we all like to show pictures of them on Facebook and poke fun at them and all this sort of thing. But, there are good guys that share those same characteristics. Mm-hmm. And similarly, there are top-level, good guys that are just, they're fit, they shoot well, everything about them, they're almost like a superhero. Well, there's also bad guys like that as well. And so, you have to understand that just because someone is a criminal or a terrorist or what have you, doesn't make them buffoons or incapable of good tactical thinking. They are just like us. The only difference is that they have a different perspective about right and wrong. Mm-hmm. And if you ask them, they think they're right. So I urge to not underestimate our adversaries. It's something we as a culture have always done, and it's always bit us in the ass, and we keep doing it. So we have to, within reason, but we have to prepare to face the most skilled adversary, and if we do that, we come across some knucklehead, we're probably going to chuckle a little bit about it as we deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we're certainly not going to get taken by them.
Yeah, Gabe, I've read all different kinds of stats on different studies, on a psychological stop versus a physical stop. I mean, the psychological stop, you point your gun at somebody and they wet their pants and take off running. What is your take on that? How often does that happen in real life?
I'd never met anyone like that.
Oh, okay.
Most of the guys that are going to be adversaries are probably not going to be intimidated because you have a weapon. They've probably had guns pointed at them many, many times in the past, and they've probably killed people and all this sort of thing. And so, a terrified or someone that appears to be terrified, holding a pistol in their hand, yelling something unintelligible out in a fear voice, that's going to empower them, not scare them.
Yeah.
So, we really need to teach more, and I hate to use the word because it's been so corrupted by modern society, but a more empowering way to teach people and less of a fear-based way to teach people. We need to, to get into these people's minds and change their self-image about who they are and how they're going to behave.
Well, when you talk about bad guys, we'll just call them bad guys.
It's a kind of a collective,
Yeah.
You throw everybody in there, it's easy to discuss.
Well, I'm a very binary thinker. Good guys, bad guys, I know who is who. The average civilian, if he gets into a gunfight, it's probably his first gunfight ever.
Uh-huh.
The guy that's coming up against you, the bad guy, this is probably not his first mugging, his first home invasion, or whatever. So I think you pretty much have to depend on the fact that he's going to be more experienced at gunfighting than you are. Isn't that true?
Well, I don't know about gunfighting, but let's just say their comfort with violence is considerably higher.
Right.
On the side of the good guys, you have, on average, people that, maybe a little bit better trained than the bad guy on average. But you also have people that are very averse to using violence.
Mm-hmm.
So you have high technical skill comparatively, but a very low comfort with doing harm and hitting and killing and all of this sort of thing. On the other side, the bad guys, again, I'm making generalizations because there's some bad guys that are very, very well, good shots and tactically skilled and everything else. But so you have maybe perhaps a lower level of technical knowledge, but you have a higher comfort with violence.
Yeah.
And you're not going to yell at these people and scare them. My point about the whole article is this: if they give you enough, shoot them.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to get in trouble, and even if you do, what's better, being in jail for a little while or being, in multiple reconstructive surgeries or being dead? You don't need to be afraid of this sort of thing. Don't give these guys a chance, because if you do, they'll take advantage of it, and they'll have a pretty good chance of turning the tables on you.
Absolutely. Hey, I agree with you 100%. All right, now, Gabe, we're about out of time for this segment. Let's go ahead and we'll take a little break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Gabe Suarez again from Suarez International. We're going to talk to him about some of the hardware aspects of personal defense. Don't go anywhere while I'm away. I want you to get down, do about 50 push-ups, one-handed if you can. Run around the block a little bit.
At least.
At least take some water, not Mountain Dew, water. And we will be right back. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere.
This is Felix Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want to talk to you about keeping your kids safe around guns. I've never been a big fan of trigger locks, but I have to tell you, I have found a product called Child Safe One. It's a trigger blocker, not a trigger lock, and it works fantastic. I tried it out on my kids, and they could not get the Child Safe One off the training gun. I gave them 5 minutes. I sat there and I watched them, and they couldn't do it. Folks, I am satisfied, more than satisfied, that my kids are safe around Child Safe One. Here's the good thing about it. I can get that lock off the gun in under 2 seconds, but my kids can't even figure out how it works. Child Safe One is a win-win for everyone in the family. My wife's happy because she knows the guns are secure. My kids are happy because they're safe. And I'm happy because when the wolf comes a-knocking, I've got that gun cocked, locked, and ready to rock in less than 2 seconds. So go to globalgunsafety.com and get Child Safe One today. That's globalgunsafety.com. Check it out now and tell them the Home Defense Show sent you.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now. All right, folks, welcome back. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. You guys should be breathing hard right now if you're after those 50 push-ups and run around the block. If you're not, either you didn't do it, and I know where you live, or you're in really good shape, and I'm just going to leave you alone. But, hey, we are back here with Gabe Suarez on the Home Defense Show. Okay, let's talk about the hardware now. What do you like to carry? What do you recommend for, the average civilian who wants to get trained, get armed, and protect themselves?
Well, you know what? It's very simple. Nothing's free, and nothing cheap is generally the best. But, money's money. So what I would tell them is, look, get the best that you can afford. Do your research. Don't just like we don't want to eat, just food out of convenience. We want to eat well and carefully and so on and so forth. Same thing with your weapons. You don't. It's very convenient to just throw a J-frame in your pocket and go off into the day and so on. But again, the times are different today when we have to accept that. And so, if you were going to get in a gunfight today, which it could happen, right? You don't get a pre-warning about these things. If you were going to get in a gunfight today, what would you want to carry? With me, I generally carry one of our Glock 17s or Glock 19s. Summer usually I go to a 19. I shoot the 17 better, but I hide the 19 a little bit easier. A couple of extra magazines. There's a few other things that I carry just, day-to-day use, but as far as weaponry, that's it. With the best ammunition that I can afford, and as you know, a very strong advocate of using red dots and things like that, use the best you can afford, because it's true that a good gun won't make a poor shooter a better shooter, but it will allow them to train and develop skills that will reach that platform. Okay, in other words, if you have a good gun and low skill, you can develop your skill to reach the capability of that high-end weapon. On the other hand, if you've got really good skill, you're going to be limited by your equipment. There's just no two ways about it. Start with the best and then work your way up to being able to express your skills with that platform at the highest levels.
Gabe, talk to us about red dots. So what are the advantages of that over just iron sights?
Well, they're considerably faster and considerably more accurate. Yeah, there's guys on the internet saying that they're slower and they're this and they're that. Well, they simply don't know how to use them. There's a lot of stuff on my blog on how to train and use these things. I've done a number of videos and so on. And it's the wave of the future. They allow you to take shots with a level of accuracy that just 10 years ago was considered impossible. I remember when I went to was a gun site back in 1990 for their advanced pistol course. That was a while ago, but nonetheless, 50 yards was a long shot, and everybody went prone and all this sort of thing. And today when we teach red dot stuff, we've got guys, young guys with good eyes, that they're firing headshots at 50 yards from the draw, standing. Okay, within 3-4 seconds or something like that. In the same time frame, more or less, they're firing body shots at 100 yards. You're not supposed to be able to do that with a pistol, but they do. The level of accuracy that's possible at close ranges, say room combat and stuff like that, exclusively headshots at those distances, and some of the guys are even, the overachievers. They're on the targets. They're going, okay, right eye, left eye, this sort of thing.
What about old guys with bad eyes? How are we going to do with red dots?
Well, I think I kind of scratched the surface of that category because I'm in my late 50s. Your eyes don't get any better, and there are things that you can do medically to enhance them. Still, the ability to shift focus quickly, front and rear, and out to the target and back and so on, that diminishes. And with a red dot, everything is on the same visual plane. The target, the dot, and so it makes everything so much easier. We got guys that's they're wearing trifocals on the range and they're trying to hold their head like this, and they say, what, just take those off here, shoot with the red dot. Can you see the target? Yeah, okay, point the gun. Oh my gosh, there's the red dot. Okay, now press carefully and there's a hit.
So the red dot, how much bulk does that add to your gun? Do you have to get a special holster? How does that work?
No, not really. I mean, it does make the gun the profile a little bit larger, but it's not in an area that is going to diminish your concealment or make carry difficult or anything else, because it's usually the part of the weapon that is above the belt. It doesn't really affect anything at all.
Yeah. Well, I know on my AR-15, I've got an EOTech on there, and that's kind of nice. I can make it brighter, dimmer. I can make adjustments and things, and so it's similar to that, but it's just a dot, right? It's not a circle or anything like that.
Right. It's just a dot. Yeah, it's just a dot. And you can get them, in different brightnesses and colors. Some take batteries, some do not. So there's a lot of possibilities out there and choices where anybody can pretty much get whatever it is they specifically want.
Do you think they'll ever come out with a green, environmentally friendly red dot sight? Maybe that's like wind powered or solar powered or anything like that.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody will come up with it. Now that we're a capitalist nation again,
Well, yeah, they do it in California if they had guns there, but
yeah, that's right.
But Gabe, I know you at Suarez International, you've got your own product line, and I'm looking right now at a slide with a red dot on top. Tell me about your particular line of hardware.
Well, we make almost everything for the Glock pistol except the frame. We make everything: sights, the firing pins, the barrels. We get our barrels. They're made from Lothar Walther blanks, so they're truly match barrels, and they'll tighten up your groups and all that sort of thing. But my goal has been past 5 or so years to make that platform and make it better. And, not just make it look different, but make it better, make it more reliable, make it more accurate, easier to shoot. When you're standing there and there's the bad guy and he's either going to kill you or he's going to kill someone else, and you absolutely, positively need to make that shot right now, you want the best equipment you could possibly get, not have to make do with something that was affordable or less than optimal, convenient. Mm-hmm. Okay, make that shot with your J-frame, or here's a Glock 19 that you can fire single hole groups out to 10 yards, that has a very manageable and predictable trigger. You're shooting the best ammunition, and there's the dot right in the center of the bad guy's head. That's a recipe for success right there.
Yeah, I can see where it would add a lot of simplicity. Everything would be a little more
intuitive because you just pull up and you shoot. You're not worrying about sight alignment, sight picture, all that stuff. And in the dark, it's like kind of your shooting goes way down because you can't see the sights all that well anyways. What about the power source? My fear, and this is probably unfounded or overblown, is that when you add technology, I don't want to pull up and aim in on somebody and then have the battery go dead or something like that.
So here's what you have. Technology exists, and technology, it allows you to express your skills at a higher level. And for example, we're having an interview here from a distance, and it's going to be up on the internet, and people from all over the world get to listen to it. We probably couldn't do that 15 years ago. So technology allows you to express what you want to do easier, faster, more efficiently. With our platforms, we're using we're Trigicons and some of the other loopholes and some of the other red dots. We always install them with backup iron sights that you can see regardless of whether the dot is functional or not. If the dot, for whatever reason, disappeared, and anything man-made can break, I understand that. That's why we have backups. You could take the shots with the irons just as if the red dot wasn't there. If we were going to go and do a backcountry, trek or something, well, we would be using GPS, but we would also have a map just in case, right? And so the iron sights exist as the just in case. Battery life on most of these, it runs about a year. So if you make a point of, actually it runs in excess of a year. So if you make a point of changing your batteries once every year on your birthday, you're probably going to be okay. Trigicon also makes a couple of optics that they're dual illuminated. They have a fiber optic and they have tritium. And, each one has pluses and minuses. But so, for the guys that are worried about batteries, it's technology and we're afraid, no big deal. You have these that don't rely on batteries. We've sold slides with those dual illuminated RMRs to a lot of folks that, let's just say that they do a lot of work overseas where they can't pop into the Walmart and buy a battery because there are no batteries, there are no Walmarts. So, they'll use those, and that way they have the benefits of the red dot without having to concern themselves with the additional issues of changing batteries.
Okay, Gabe, before we go, you also make Glock triggers. Tell us about that.
We've got 3 different types. One has very minimal take-up. It's almost like a 1911 trigger. A lot of the guys in competitions really like those and so on. We've got another one that has the same take-up as the factory trigger, but being aluminum, it's smoother, and it's a flat-face trigger, so it's easier to manage placement of the trigger. We make that one in a complete flat face, flat profile. We also make a sort of a semi-flat. It's got a little bit of a curve to it because some of the guys with longer fingers may prefer that one. And again, it's intended to enhance the accuracy. You can have the most accurate pistol on earth, but you got a horrendous trigger. Every time you pull that trigger, the pistol's going to be moving left and right and so on. Our triggers allow you to take advantage of the accuracy that's established with your handgun.
So, what do your triggers run?
Right now, they're running $60. We have the best trigger for the lowest price in the country.
Wow, $60?
Everybody else is selling them for $125, $150.
Yeah.
We make them all in house. We manufacture them, assemble them, everything in house. So we can afford to do that.
That sounds great. Now you also have slides.
We've got Gen 3 and Gen 4, 19, 17, and 34s, and we have them available already cut for an RMR or plain, where you can just leave them as is, or you can get us to cut them for whatever other particular red dot you like. They are made to tighter tolerances, so they are going to be more accurate than the slide that comes on your pistol. And we do that without affecting reliability as long as you use good ammunition.
Wow. Well, I tell you, Gabe, you almost have me convinced to switch from my M&P full frame to maybe a Glock 17 or Glock 19. I'm going to do some research and do a little bit here.
Well, give me a call when you're ready.
Hey, you bet. All right. Hey, Gabe, I know you're busy. You're in a hurry, so we will let you go now. But before you go, where can people contact you?
Our website is SuarezInternational.com. That's SUAREZ International.com. That's the main website, and everything is accessible through there. Our forum, our YouTube page, the blog. And there's a lot of free information for guys that want to know about tactics, about equipment, about whatever. We put a lot of content out there for our customers.
Well, hey, free sounds like a good price to me. So, Gabe, thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show. I appreciate it very much. Folks, when we come back, we'll do the wrap-up in segment 4. And we're going to talk some more about Gabe behind his back, okay? But it'll be all good stuff. All right, when I'm away here, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead, run around the block a little bit. Do some sit-ups. Strengthen your core. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. We will be right back.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, this is Skip Coryell, host of the Home Defense Show. I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 17 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book, by yours truly, Skip Coryell. This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us. All right, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. I hope you're feeling satisfied by that vegetable or that piece of red meat, whatever it is you chose to eat. You all know that I'm on a diet. I didn't lose any weight last week, which was discouraging to me, but I don't know, it's not easy when you have an ice cream, mocha frappuccino, and Mountain Dew diet. There is zero room for error. You slip up one day and you're screwed. But hey, I love my ice cream, my frappuccino, and my Mountain Dew. I'll do what I gotta do. No pun intended. I got some good mail this past week. The show last week, Kamal Salim, the former Islamic terrorist. Boy, I just got all kinds of good response from that. People loved it. Glenn told me that it was the best interview he's heard in 10 years. Bob said it was fantastic. He loved it. Hey, you're going to hear things here on the Home Defense Show that you're not going to hear other places. We're not politically correct. We just kind of tell it the way it is and let the cow chips fall where they may. Also got an email from Mike B. He said, one question I have. When carrying, is it best not to load a round in the chamber? I am concerned about accidental firing since there is no safety on my pistol. Okay. My thought on that is, well, there's no safety on my pistol either. And that's on purpose. When it comes to combat, you want things simple and you want things strong. I have one pistol that I carry that has a safety on it. That safety is always in the off position. I do not want it accidentally coming on I'm not worried about an accidental discharge. Folks, let's face it, accidental discharges, they only occur in the bedroom. And that's a whole new show all on its own, and this is a family show, so we're not going to get into that. They're called negligent discharges. When your gun goes off when you don't want it to, it's because you neglected one of the basic safety rules. If the gun goes off, you had your finger on the trigger, didn't you? Are you supposed to have your finger on the trigger before you're ready to shoot? No, you're not. The only way that gun's going to go off when your finger's not on the trigger is if you spontaneously burst into flames. And if that happens, you got a bigger problem than your finger on the trigger. So, it's about muscle memory. It's all about muscle memory. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be carrying a gun at all. People don't trust themselves, or they're afraid. So they'll do stupid things, like carrying a gun that's not loaded. I had one guy come up to me, and he kept the magazine in the left pocket and the gun over in the holster. It wasn't even loaded. An unloaded gun is just a very expensive club. That's stupid. The average gunfight lasts 3 seconds. It's going to take you at least 2 seconds just to bring the gun in the battery so that you can fire it. How many times can the bad guy shoot you in 2 seconds? 5, 6 times from close distance. It doesn't take a lot. So carrying a gun that's not loaded is really, really, what's a technical term I want? Dumber than a box of rocks. Okay? If you've got good muscle memory, it doesn't matter. Every time you draw that firearm, your finger should be right down the slide. Your finger is not on the trigger every time you draw the firearm. If it is, then you need to reestablish correct muscle memory. You have to go through your draw stroke about 3,000 times, keeping your finger down the slide off the trigger, muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Do that 3,000 times, and you don't have to worry about it. You have to have the gun pointed in the safe direction with your finger off the trigger. That's the way that it has to be done. Safety with guns has nothing to do with hardware. It's a software issue. It's a software item. And software is what you have upstairs between your ears. If you're safe in your brain and you got good muscle memory, then the handgun is going to be safe. It's not going to go off when you don't want it to or when you don't expect it to. So that's my advice. Always carry around in the chamber, cocked, locked, ready to rock. Have good muscle memory, good safety habits, and then you don't need to worry about it. Okay, Michael B., I hope I answered your question and that you're not all pissed off at me because of it. All right, what else we've got? Let's do a recap on Gabe Suarez, our resident instructor badass there. He doesn't mince words. I mean, he's polite. He's a gentleman. But, hey, he will shoot you if you make the wrong move, right? And this guy, I'm nervous when I interview Gabe because I know that this guy's been in a lot of gunfights. And I've never asked him point blank, but I imagine he's probably killed some human beings. I'm an instructor. I teach this stuff, but I've never done it. It's kind of like teaching skydiving when all you've done is read the book about it. I'm a good teacher, but it's all secondhand knowledge. I know how to shoot, but I don't really know how to be in a gunfight. I've never been in a gunfight. So when I meet someone like Gabe, they have a higher measure of respect for me because they've done what they're teaching. Let me go back to Gabe's article because he's so eloquent here in a brutal sort of way. First, I want to point out that unless your adversary is some criminal incarnation of Mr. Rogers, he is not afraid of you. He has contempt for you and everything you hold important. And more, your life and that of your family means absolutely nothing to him. That is the guy I want you to prepare for, and not the wishy-washy pseudo-thug with the saggy pants halfway down his ass and the sideways hat babooning about what a badass he is, while he looks for an excuse to break contact and leave with his ball still in his sack. That's pretty straight talk. He goes on to say, if the bad guy capitulates and either breaks contact and runs away or surrenders, it is for one simple reason.
He thinks you are going to kill him. If you convey compassion or fear or hesitation or anything other than a hateful yearning and readiness to empty your magazine into his freaking face, he will not believe you and he will test you. Sure, you have been to the Spider-Man School of Gunfighting, or worse, to the law-abiding, at-all-costs Adam 12 School of Gunfighting, and you know all about passing the test. Great for you. But the real bad guy will be different than that overweight ex-internal affairs guy that taught your class. You cannot fake this. You must come to terms with killing him. I dare say you must be quite comfortable with the idea. The bad guy knows all about BS, and he will see right through yours. How do we fix that? Simple. Go out and kill something. This is usually where the animal friends and Sierra Club types leave the room. I have hunted men and I have hunted animals, and at the point of decision, there is no difference. Get your legal hunting license, go out into the woods, find a nice little Bambi-esque creature, and blow its brains out. You can even eat it afterwards if you like, which is not what you want to do with the bad guy. But I digress. Killing begins in the mind. If you can kill in your mind, the rest is easy. I wish I had said that, but it was Jones, speaking about Tommy Lee Jones, in the movie The Hunted. Wow. Folks, that about sums it up right there. It's about being deliberate, about knowing what you're capable of, about practicing it, about knowing how to do it, and more importantly, knowing that you actually can do it. That's all the software. In segment 3, we talked about hardware. We talked about Gabe Suarez and the triggers that he does and the slides and the red dot. He almost has me convinced on the red dot. I'm going to give it a try. First, I have to make some money because I know those things aren't cheap. But it's worth a try, and I'm open to new things. So I will go ahead and I'll try that red dot site. Hey, if one of my former students out there has a red dot, I would love to try it. So, hey, give me a call. I'll meet you out on the range, and we'll do some shooting together. But I would love to try that thing out. You know, I have a Glock Model 22. That's a 40 caliber. But the Glock 19, the Glock 17 has been on my list for a long, long time. I love my Smith & Wesson M&P full frame. I love my M&P Shield. Great guns. But, hey, I've got an open mind, and I'm willing to buy another gun. I'll check into a Gen 4 Model 17 or Model 19. Stick a red dot sight on there, and we will see what happens. Who knows? Maybe I really am a good shot. We'll find out. You know, that part about killing an animal, go out and blow an Bambi-esque animal's brains out, that reminded me of the first animal I ever shot. It was the most pitiful thing in the world. I think I was like, 11 years old, something like that. And my dad took me out rabbit hunting for the first time, and I had a shotgun. I think it was a double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun. And it was in the wintertime, foot of snow on the ground. And this nice, furry, warm little bunny pops out in front of me, and I shot behind it. And I blew that critter's back legs off. It was pitiful. This thing is pulling itself along with its front legs because its back legs are gone. And, my dad's chased it down. It went inside a stump, a hollow stump. And he had to dig inside there, and I think the rabbit bit him. And, he pulled it out and, wrung its neck. And, boy, that was pitiful. And I think I ended up crying over the whole thing. But I tell you, I've killed a lot of animals since then, but it took me several years before I shot another animal after that. But you know what? You have to desensitize yourself to that because it's just part of life. I have to admit, I'm no cold-blooded killer. It doesn't come natural to me. When I shoot an animal, there's always a little tinge of remorse. It's a sad act for me. But hey, if I don't kill it, I can't eat it, right? It'd be even more cruel to grill it alive. So you shoot it, you kill it, you gut it out, you drag it back, and you process it. That's just the way that it is. Okay, enough on Gabe Suarez. If you want to hear more about him or learn more about Gabe, go to SuarezInternational.com. Go to his Warrior Talk forum. Check out his slides, his triggers, and his red dot, and all the training that he offers. Don't be afraid about trying something new. Always try to improve, upgrade, better yourself when it comes to your personal defense plan and your hardware and your software. Okay, folks. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. We're out of time. Next week, we'll be talking about... I have no idea. But it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. You're going to love it. You're going to learn a lot. Until then, remember your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and to serve it. Always remember God, family, country in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!